Welcome to historical history. Historical. That's not right. Welcome to History Boomerang. What I'm doing right here might take a little longer, but it'll be under 3, okay? Okay, here we go. All you people in the literature world, if you've ever heard of the poet Percy Shelley, lived in basically the 1800s, died in 1822, and then his wife, Mary, I love her middle name, Wollstonecraft Shelley, she died, quite a bit after him, about 50 years after him. And she is the one that wrote Frankenstein. So I'm going to tell you what happened with him. He once wrote in his literature, let me get right this on the screen here. He once wrote in his literature that, quote, death is the veil which those who call, I knew I'd do that. Death is the veil which those who live call light. That's what he said. And that was some of his lighter stuff that he did. So, we can imagine some weird delight he had over how he died. And what happened to his body in death. So here's what happened. First, his death checked off all the check boxes for a romantic death. So I think he would have thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, he died young, and he drowned at sea. And he left behind his devastated wife that wrote Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. When they found the body, it washed up on the shore of Italy. And the Italian quarantine laws back then forbade it to be moved because they were afraid of the plague that corpses might spread. So they could not move the body. So Mary decided to cremate her husband, the famous poet, right there on the beach. So it's just flames consuming a body as angry waves are crashing up onto the sea. Kind of is a little poetic and stuff, but it can get a little creepy when there's a little problem. And the little problem was there was a body part that did not burn. And the body part that did not burn, some of you are trying to guess, was the heart. The heart did not burn. So his buddy, Lord Byron, who, if you study literature, is another famous poet, he got tired of waiting, so he took a swim. And then he had another friend there named Captain Trelawney, who was over it. So he grabs the heart from the flames, deciding that a poet's heart should not burn. It wasn't meant to be burnt. So he keeps that for several years, and then after a few years, he gives it to Mary. And that was in 1851. And by this time, the heart is reduced to dust, and she takes it and she wraps it in one of his poems and puts it in a drawer. And that's where it was found sometime later. A kind of fitting into a poet who once wrote, quote, the flower that smiles today, tomorrow dies. Sorry, we went just over 4.